Welcome back to Out Loud, the Selective Mutism podcast. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Ann, Chelsea's mom.
And today we have another special guest. Her name is Nika. I've followed her on Instagram for a while, and I am super excited that she agreed to come on and tell us about her experiences. So welcome, Nika.
Thank you.
And her mom is here too, Jana,
yep. Thank you.
Chelsea, you want to?
I thought you were going to do your question.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering, Chelsea had some questions all put together, and then I was looking at her questions, and I said, well, what about, I just wanted to ask Nika, so how old are you?
I'm 10.
10. Okay. That's kind of, I'm looking, because I checked your page out. Chelsea sent me all your stuff, and I was looking at your page, and I thought, oh, she's probably about 10 or 11. Okay. So what grade, that would put you in what grade? 4 or 5?
5th grade.
5th. Okay. What else? I was just wondering how many, who's in your family, if you have any brothers and sisters or anything like that, any siblings?
I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
2? Oh, wow.
Well, one of my sisters and one of my brothers usually lives with me.
Okay. You have a big family then. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but she's also the only one left here.
So that's different. Yeah.
The one brother is much older.
And he lives in California.
He lives in California.
Oh, wow.
And the sister, again, much older, lives in Las Vegas. But then Noah and Kaya kind of grew up here with Nika, and they're both in college right now.
Okay. So you're the baby then, probably too? Are you the baby?
Yeah.
Not the baby, but you know what I mean. You're the youngest.
This is the baby, the dog.
Yeah, I see this little doggy behind you. That was another question. So do you have more than one dog? Because I've seen Scrappy on Instagram, and I love him.
Scrappy, come here.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute.
I love small dogs. Oh, there he is. That's him.
Yeah, Scrappy's here.
Hi, Scrappy. So how many dogs do you have?
We have 2 dogs.
2.
Piper and Scrappy.
Piper and Scrappy. They're so
Oh my
cute.
God, they're adorable.
I used to have a little dog too. So I guess we can get into our
So let's ask a few questions about selective mutism.
Okay. So Nika, how old were you when you first started experiencing selective mutism?
I don't really ever remember not having it.
Mhm.
I guess the first time I remember it being a problem was when I started school. But my mom says she noticed it a little earlier though.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same for me, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Chelsea was a baby, I could kind of tell, I thought she was just shy. And then, the older she got, I kind of was starting to wonder, maybe there's something more here than just being shy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that was us as well. I think, we started to realize when we would do the mom and me classes and we'd separate, she's really not talking to anyone. And even in the room, she was really only talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
Even if someone else was talking to her, she was speaking kind of through me. And so we knew something was up, but we also thought she hadn't started school yet, so maybe she was just really slow to warm up and that was all going to work itself out. It did not work itself out, but we found a way, and now Nika has helped work it out. So
Yeah,
she seems to be doing amazing from her videos and things. I was pretty impressed.
So do you still experience any of the symptoms of selective mutism today?
Yeah, a bit. Sometimes talking to new people that I don't know yet makes me nervous or freeze up. I can do it, but it's still hard sometimes, and I don't sound as expressive as I do when I'm talking to my family or friends.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Definitely.
That's pretty common in selective mutism.
I would think that most people would say they don't realize that she has it. She actually had done an interview for a project she did the other day, and people said, I didn't realize that she had that. She seems completely fine. We notice the difference because we know how expressive and animated and funny she is. So we can tell the difference when she's speaking to someone else. But I don't think most people would be able to tell anymore.
Nika, I wonder, are you able to tell us, I don't know if Chelsea was really able to put into words at that age when she was younger, but can you tell us some of the things that you feel when you feel uncomfortable?
I feel like if I do or say something stupid, I'll be judged, and that feeling just makes my body feel hot and like tense up.
Mm. Chelsea used to faint quite a bit. Has that ever happened to you?
No.
Good. Good.
Wow, a full-out faint?
Yeah, so I always used to feel like just my heart would start pounding and my vision would start to go, and it would either be like I could tell I was either going to throw up or pass out. So I would usually have to get to the bathroom or curl in a ball wherever I was to protect myself.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's such severe physical symptoms.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of those.
Wow.
I would always tell her to put your head down. I tried to
put your head between your knees. Yeah.
Put your head down.
Poor thing.
One time in school, she was watching a video and she felt it. So I would always told her, just put your head down if that ever happens. And so she put her head down on her desk, and she got in trouble for putting her head down on her desk and not paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you're feeling anxious? What can help you when you're feeling that way to feel better?
Being around my mom helps a lot. I know she won't talk for me or try to rescue me from talking, but she'll also be there if I'm confused or have a question or need something right.
Yeah. I always felt like it seems like you really love animals. I always loved my cat, and she made me feel better.
Yeah, my dogs also help me feel better.
So cute.
Especially Scrappy, because he's not hyper.
like Piper. Yeah.
Calm.
Scruffy's an old soul. Yeah. I mean, I think Nika went to Brave Bunch camp at Florida International University as part of the MINT program, and did learn coping techniques there as well. I don't know, sometimes I'll ask her, I'll go, does it make you feel better, Nika, to know that you've done it once so you can do it again? And what was your answer?
No.
Well, each situation's so different, right? I feel like each situation is totally different.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think we hope that buried in your subconscious there somewhere, it helps. But, on the surface, take those deep breaths. And I think maybe the deep breaths don't help, but knowing not to, shallow breathe helps. Because I never see her just get all zen, and go like that. But I do sometimes see her go, okay, I'm not going to try to huff and puff and, panic attack this away. So some of those things might help, even though maybe you don't realize it right away.
Even if you're just aware of it, because when I was little, I didn't even notice that I was shallow breathing or struggling, and just knowing and being aware of your own body can help you kind of slow down. For sure.
How old was Nika when she went to the camp?
Nika, it was the summer after first grade. So it was right before
7 or 6.
It was right before you turned 7, because then we celebrated her birthday afterward. And we didn't have a technical diagnosis until first grade, actually, even though we knew way before, this was going to be something that needed help. And we were pretty sure this is what it was, but there wasn't anyone in our state who really was knowledgeable about that. We had to go in and say, we're pretty sure our daughter has selective mutism. Will you take a look at this? At which point they said, of course we will. We'd be happy to. They said, yes, you're right, she does. And then they said, we should try this or we should try that. I said, we've already done that. What else you got? And they kind of said, you know what, at this point, you actually know more than we do about it. So I would for sure refer her to an intensive camp or something like that. So that's where we got a lot more information and things.
Now, how did you know somebody else with selective mutism, or did you Google, or how did you recognize that it was selective mutism?
Okay, this is a funny situation because, among other things, I didn't realize until I was older I had selective mutism. Having said that, I do believe that mine possibly wasn't selective. My mom died when I was young. And it was just a situation, I think, where I was, kind of trying to lay low and stuff. But my dad, and my grandmother both said to me, don't you remember those 2 years you didn't talk? And I was like,
oh, wow.
What? I said, I talked not to anybody outside the family. And I went, oh yeah, I guess you're right. I really didn't.
Wow.
And I do remember that being really stressful for me and a really big problem. And so when we thought possibly this was an issue for Nika, I went, no way is she going to go through what I went through.
Right.
But one of the funny things that happened is we have a family friend, and I work as a choreographer and a dance competition judge. It's kind of a weird job, but that's what I do. And we were sitting at a dance competition, and one of the other judges, who's a friend of mine, says, okay, I have to stop because this girl is calling me on the phone. And the other judges and I were like, are you kidding me? We have a job to do. Are you seriously stopping the whole thing because you have to pick up the phone? She goes, this girl is calling me. She's made it a goal. She has to call someone on the phone this week. She has something called selective mutism. And I remember at the time just going like, we're really in the middle of something right now. Are you really? We're stopping for this? And I remember that she did it. And I remember going, wow, on one hand, let's keep going to get our job done. But on the other hand, going, that's a lot of dedication and a lot of love that you've given to this kid who clearly chose you to do something amazing for her. And I just kind of filed it away. Nika wasn't even born yet at the time. And then when we noticed this, I went, wait a minute. This is familiar to me. So I called my friend, her name is Nikki, and Nikki said, absolutely, I'm going to put you in touch with this friend whose daughter was calling me. Talk to her. She sent me some information. I said, this is it. This is my kid. And so Nika was about 3 or 4 when we kind of decided, no, this is really, I think what this is. And that was sort of our introduction to the fact that selective mutism was its own entity and not part of this kind of overarching anxiety.
Well, that's amazing. That's, that's kind of mind-boggling, right? Like coincidence and the fact that it stuck out in your mind.
Super coincidence. Yes. So, and it's funny because Nikki is someone who is really a mentor to Nika for her This Life Rocks program and has been really, right? I'd say Nikki's been really influential, and she was one of the people that said, hey, Nika, do you want to help me with some of these projects and do some of these things? So it's just funny that that's kind of where it started, and it kind of came full circle.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm going to ask you about the This Life Rocks in a little bit after we get the SM stuff out of the way. I guess what else did selective mutism make it hard to do? Like, it's usually at school where things are hardest, but I'm just wondering for you specifically, what was hard?
It makes it hard to talk in front of like big groups of people or people I think I might see again that will judge the way I sound. I've done it. It's just hard. Sometimes it makes it hard to talk about how I feel. It also made it really hard to ask to be included to like play on the playground at school. Yeah. I'm lucky because I had a lot of good friends that always made sure I was included.
That's amazing.
It was pretty much impossible for me to ask. It also made it hard to do like the class play, but this summer I did a socially distanced theater performance and I really loved it.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I never did that. I like to work on the set, like behind the scenes stuff. I think I did that for a few years. Yeah, that's awesome.
Nika did tech for a play, and then this summer she was
unbelievable. Yeah. So Nika, did your friends know that? I mean, for them to invite you, because I know a lot of times on the playground, Chelsea did stand along the edge of the wall and nobody would invite her in to play. So did your friends know that you had something called selective mutism, or they were just really nice friends and invited you in?
I don't think they knew at the time, but now they do.
I think Nika did that in kindergarten too. She had about a week where she stood there. And then one kid came up to her and he said, do you want to be friends? And she's like,
finally,
yes.
It's so hard to initiate that kind of thing. Like, it's hard to ask somebody else to play.
Right.
Yeah. It's easier if someone comes up to you.
Is it easier if someone comes up to you?
Yeah.
I will say, though, after she went to Brave Camp and we did have that initial diagnosis, kids come back from school and they say, what did you do? What did everybody do this summer? And Nika would say, well, I went to Brave Camp. And her friends would go, well, what's that? And we would talk about, how you went to gymnastics camp because you wanted to get better at cartwheels, or you went to horse riding camp because you want to learn to ride a horse. And Nika would say, well, one of the things I want to do is I want to learn to talk louder and to be to be able to talk to you guys better. And so I went to camp for that, to be a little braver. And our friends were like, that's so cool. That's so great. You got to go to your camp. I got to go to my camp.
Oh, I
That's
don't
awesome.
remember that.
You don't remember that part?
No.
But I specifically remember the friends that were really supportive of that.
That's awesome, because it's not always like that. Sometimes people don't get it.
Nika, do you remember the camp? Do you remember being at the camp and all that?
Yeah.
And do you think, because it sounds like your mom had a lot of stuff or, you know, things for you to practice and that before you went to camp to try to help you get better at speaking. Do you think the camp, I don't know, do you think that was like a turning point? Was that like the biggest help or?
Probably one of the biggest helps.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think it kind of becomes a lifestyle of exposure therapy. And until we went to the intensive and, you know, and had that information laid out for us and the practice as well, it seemed like you go to therapy once a week and you kind of do these things and you hope it gets better. But when we went to camp, it became this kind of overarching project and lifestyle and way of living and way of helping, that even though Nika knew, like, we weren't fooling anybody when we were saying, hey, Nika, can you repeat that again? She'd look at us, you know, or we would do the things that you learn to do when your kid has SM and say, you know, I see that you're nodding. Does that mean that you'd like the garlic bread? And she literally looked at us that week. She goes, I know what you're doing. She said, yeah, give me the bread.
I always say that. Don't underestimate these kids. They're smart. Yeah.
Right. And we're like, okay, we get it. And then she would look at us too and she'd go, oh, Dad, I see that you're nodding. Does that mean you like the spaghetti? And she'd mock us to the point that we would say, we know that you know what you're doing, but you also know we're practicing. She's like, no, I get it. And I do want to get better and I do want to practice. So I think being really open with her too and saying, we know some of this sounds a little bit ridiculous, but like doing drills for basketball, we're still going to do it. And she's been good at it, and she wanted to get better, and there were things she wanted to do as well.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I would definitely say camp was important. We did also decide to go the medication route after 2 years after camp, and Nika had blossomed and she was taking off, and she had hit a bit of a plateau. And can I tell them the story about dance class in Genevieve?
Oh, yeah. Sure,
okay. So we were at dance class and Nika had a little bit of a panic attack. And she had to sit down and she couldn't really talk about it. And one of the little girls in dance class said, well, what's going on? And I was the teacher and I said, well, Nika has this thing called anxiety. And the girl goes, anxiety? She goes, there's medicine for that, my mom. You know, Nika just looked at me like, are you kidding me? I have been working my butt off for years and I could have had like medicine that helped me out. And so that night she just kind of cornered us. She said, I want that medicine.
Wow.
You said, I want that medicine. And we said, well, Nika, you know, it still takes a lot of work. And she said, I know, and I have been working, but there's still some things I want to do that I can't. And one of those things was she couldn't really participate in like a reader's theater or a play or something like that. And it was on her list. And so we said, okay, we'll give it a try. It did help. That was not the thing that turned everything around. Her hard work turned everything around, and her willingness to put herself out there and keep practicing. But it did take enough of the edge off that she was able to kind of push through and do a little more set some higher goals for herself.
And it makes it easier for you to work towards your goals, at least in my experience. And I was kind of on it ever since I was like little. I never decided I want to be on meds. Like it just it wasn't my choice, but it worked. It definitely helped.
Well, we did. I don't know if it wasn't your choice. I mean, we did talk about it and decided, but then you were off. We just did it. We were supposed to do it for a year. And I've said this many times on the podcast. But as a mom, I felt awful having a second grader, you know, on an SSRI, and I felt guilty and didn't know if I was doing the right thing for her. So I took her off. And then just over the years, she was, back on and back off as she felt she needed it. But I just want to agree and just point out that, because a lot of people, you'll hear people say, like medicine is taking the easy way or whatever, but absolutely not. Same thing with Chelsea. I mean, she has always pushed herself and made herself, fainting or not, she would stand up there quivering like a leaf to do her presentation, but she made herself do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it just helped her, right? Same thing, just get over a little bit extra just to let her achieve the other things that she wanted to
I
do.
don't think it would do any good without Nika's hard work. It wasn't.
Exactly.
We attended the National Selective Mutism Conference last year. Nika was a guest speaker.
Oh, wow.
And Dr. Kurtz was there. And one of the things that he had said, he is one of the SM amazing professionals out there.
Yes.
He had said, they shouldn't have to work so hard. He said, they're already working so hard. That's all the medicine is doing, making it easier for them to do their job, which brought us comfort into, because like you said, there's so much guilt. You go, really? Is this what I want to do for my little kid? They're a tiny person in a tiny body, and this is what I want to go. Is this the route I want to take? But it was 100% the right choice for us. Maybe it's not for everyone else, but it doesn't change their personality, doesn't change who they are. It just made it a little easier for her to knock that adrenaline down a little bit so she could get the things she needed to get done.
Yeah, I always say it allowed Chelsea to be herself.
Yes, that's one of the things I asked Nika when we talked about going off. I said, when do you feel more like yourself? When you're taking it or when you're not taking it? Because we didn't want to say, when do you feel better? Who knows what that means, but you decided that you felt more like yourself when you were taking it, right? Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of misunderstanding with selective mutism, and I was just wondering, what do you wish more people understood about it?
I wish they understood that it's not a choice. I've had people tell me to speak up or be more expressive, but they don't realize that just speaking all takes all of my brain power and adrenaline.
Oh yeah.
People with SM have to work really hard to communicate at all, and it's frustrating when people who don't know me tell me how to talk.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
The worst. I remember last year Nika was going to speak at the conference, and we said, oh, we'll stop and get a manicure. That's going to be great. And she was getting the manicure, and she was just kind of sitting there, and the lady was trying to make small talk, and that's not Nika's strength.
No.
That's
not me either.
Nika can talk about a lot of things, but how's the weather, where, that kind of stuff is the thing. And the lady said, well, why are you getting a manicure? And she said, well, I'm speaking at a conference. And the lady said, well, you better learn how to talk before you go.
Oh boy.
Don't you remember that? You freaked out.
I would freak out.
I know she said something weird, but I forgot what it was.
It was that, yes. And I think maybe you blocked part of it out, but I remember I just went, no. And I kind of explained what was going on, but you've been told how to talk often.
That's annoying.
Yeah. I think people people have no idea.
I always hated getting my hair cut for the same reason. I just didn't want people to talk to me. I just wanted them to cut my hair and leave me alone.
But Chelsea, I feel like that's a lot of us.
Yeah.
You have SM, and I'm sort of just cut my hair.
I'm not there to talk to you. I just want my hair cut.
God. I feel the same way about the dentist or a teeth cleaner.
Yeah.
Job done. Right?
Yes.
Yes, I totally understand that. You love getting haircuts and going to the dentist, though.
I don't mind the dentist. Do you have any advice or words of encouragement for people who are struggling right now with SM or...
It takes a lot of work. You just have to keep talking to people even when you feel like it sounds weird or people are judging you. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. If you can just be a tiny bit braver by just talking to even one person, it will help.
Yeah. That's great advice.
Great advice.
I would say that's sort of been what she practices doing. Just a little something every day. We call them micro braves.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, tiny braves, so that you can just keep going a little bit.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that doing some little thing each day reminded me of when Chelsea gave me your information and I was looking you up online and I saw the 100 Deeds Day for 2020. So that was absolutely amazing. I don't know, do you just tell me, it's not 100 deeds in one day, right? That would be crazy.
No, it is.
It is.
It is?
Yeah.
In one day?
Uh-huh.
How is that possible? You don't do them all,
There's
though.
a lot of other people that help us do it, so
Okay. Oh my gosh.
not just us.
It is great, but that's it. Yeah.
Wow. Now, how did you come up with that? Like, how did that come to be?
Well, me and my mom were talking about like Black Friday and like what it is and how people go crazy, like trying to get the last TV or toy or whatever. And then we thought, what if people did kind things on Black Friday instead? And then we thought, like, what if we did 100 kind things on Black Friday?
It looks seems doable, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah, but it's like about a 15-hour day for us.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you said the video was 2020. Does that mean, have you done this before, like other years?
Yeah, we've done it for like 4 years, I think.
Wow. Oh my God. Jeez.
4th year.
Wow. So, like, what were some of the deeds that you did? I'm just curious.
This year we went to like the Mall of America in Minnesota and we bought like 2 people's boba tea for them.
Oh.
Yeah.
We took toys to the children's hospital.
Yeah, we always
That's
do
wonderful.
that.
Yeah, we always do that. Pick up trash in the park. Oh, you set up the giving tree at the library.
Yeah.
Was that the scarf thing? The
Yeah.
scarf? Okay. I saw that and I thought, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this girl is like unbelievable. You didn't make the scarves in a day, right? You didn't make those scarves, right?
Well, she made a hat.
Wow.
It's the worst hat on the tree.
No, it's not. It's the best hat on the tree.
Wow.
I just learned to crochet and I put the hat on the tree and I'm like, woe is the person who takes this hat. It's terrible.
Just a bit.
Pardon?
Do you have like the circle loom?
Oh no, it was a real hook and a real yarn and it.
The circle loom's actually pretty easy. I got one of those, so I've made some hats, but they come out kind of weird.
It can't be any weirder than mine, so maybe I should
It's
go
not
to
that
the
bad. It's just like a
circle loom.
beret.
Like a beret.
Oh, well, typically we get to do some other things, but 2020 was hard. Typically we'll go to the Humane Society, walk some dogs, or Nika's the one she hates, but also kind of likes. Do you want to tell them the one you hate that you also kind of like?
Oh, yeah. So there's like a chocolate shop at the Mall of America called Lint, and every 100 Kind Deeds Day, we buy a piece of chocolate for everybody in the store.
Oh, that's fun.
That's nice.
So it's fun, but Nika also hates the attention of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a lot of attention, unless there's like no one in the store. It's like,
Right. I think what are the most? I think one time there were 35 people in the little shop.
oh boy,
So that was a lot of truffles.
Oh,
wow.
Many truffles.
yeah.
I bet they love it though. Free chocolate.
It was a good thing.
Yeah.
That's got to be hard for you though, Nika. I mean, do you find that hard? What did you have to go around to each person and like give them their chocolate or?
No, I just like tell the people working there, and then they just like announce it on the loudspeaker, and then everyone comes and like puts their truffle up there, and no, everyone just like takes it, I'm pretty sure, and then we pay for it.
Oh, that is so nice.
I usually get one too.
Yeah, that's the bonus.
Nice.
You really love it when everyone comes up to you and goes, "Oh, thank you, little girl." Don't. Oh,
I'm I'm sure.
That's like the worst part of Nika's day, even though she likes 100 Kind Deeds Days so much.
That's impressive.
I'll have to do it next year. I kind of missed out on it this year. I think I just discovered it a little bit too late.
It's so fun. And I mean, sometimes just little things we do, like we took Post-it notes and she wrote like, this would look great on you or whatever, and then put it on a sweater when we're, at Target or something. So they're just little things. They're not all huge things. They're buying things for people.
That's what makes, it's always the little things though. One time I had, just last year, actually, you just reminded me of this. I was driving to work and I went a different way than I normally go. And I came around a corner and somebody had put up a sign just saying like, have a nice day. But it just struck me that they took their time to make this sign and go out and stick it, by the side of the road. And, it made me smile, made me happy the whole rest of the way going to work. So that's cool.
Just knowing that people will do that for others is kind of nice.
Yeah. And so your page is called This Life Rocks. And that's like a little play on the rocks that you paint, right? So I was wondering about that. Like, how did you get started with the rocks and what are they for? What are they?
We paint rocks and hide them for people to either find or pass on. One summer I was really into painting rocks and my mom told me that some people hide them for others to find, and I thought that sounded fun, so we
Yeah. I actually keep finding them. Like, I've gone on a lot of walks during COVID and I keep finding painted rocks and I think of you every time.
That's so great.
Yeah, they like say cute little positive things on them.
I'm going to be honest. It was one summer when Nika's dad had cancer. And so we typically travel a lot. And so we were at the library constantly. And Nika was pulling out, I still remember, craft book after craft book after craft book. And we were always making slime or knitting socks out of our dog's fur or whatever it was. And she finally pulled out the rock painting book. I was like, oh, yes. Thank heavens. This we can do. This is sustainable. We can paint the rocks. And so that's, oh my gosh, so many things. And so that was one of the first things I said, we can keep this one up. This one we can do.
Yeah, I love it.
Yes.
I just love all the positive stuff.
So you actually look pretty artistic too. I've seen some of the rocks. I mean, they're good. Like they're really good. Like, do you draw and things?
Yeah, I do.
Like, are you artistic naturally? You must be.
I'd like to do a lot of art.
Crazy artistic.
Is your mom or dad an artist? Is anyone else? Because you really do seem artistic.
My brother is.
Her brother is he's a professional artist. He's actually going to school right now for art education, but he's done some illustrating and some different things like that. So when he's home, Nika draws with him. But the funny thing is, Nika is an incredible sculptor.
Oh.
And her brother is like, nope. Give me a pen and markers, but I don't want to sculpt.
He can work with like modeling and sculpting and stuff, but he just can't do pottery.
Oh no.
I can't either.
You're still working on that. You've got time.
I don't have a pottery. I'm not working on it.
Well, but you have time. You have time. I don't know about him.
I also noticed from your website, I just, few of the pictures and things, you seem very aware about different social justice issues, and just different social things going on in the world. And I was wondering, where does that come from?
I think what she's more asking a little bit, Neeks, is the things that you're interested in, like politics and civics and those kinds of things. Is that just something that is interesting to you and that you think is important, or did you learn that somewhere?
It's just something that's interesting and I think it's important. Also, do you know like Greta Thunberg?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she inspired me a lot.
That was one of Nika's first things that she was able to stand up and speak in class. They have the wax museum in 3rd grade where you pretend to be someone.
Yeah, I was her.
Nika was Greta Thunberg. And Greta Thunberg started following Nika because she was like...
She did?
Yeah, don't you know that?
No, I thought you just started following her.
No. No, well, you were in 3rd grade, so you might not have been paying attention. But...
That's amazing.
It was pretty cool. But Nika's always had an interest in civics and things like that. She always likes to go vote with me and tells me who to vote for.
That's really cool.
Oh, you so do. You so do. And then like she stayed up all night counting the election ballots and all those kinds of things. So
I just think that's amazing. I saw some of the pictures and I was like, oh my gosh, like for a 10-year-old girl or whatever to be so knowledgeable and involved. And I don't know, I was pretty impressed. A lot of adults aren't even that aware of what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's just like you're such a kind person and everything is like about being kind, and I think that's amazing. And I think when I was your age, there's no way I could be doing this and going on a podcast, and even talking about selective mutism was really hard for me. It's only become easier recently, actually. So I just wanted to thank you for coming on. I think it's amazing. And I just think you're awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Were there any questions that Chelsea had put down that you prepared for that we didn't get to?
Oh, here, I'll help her take a look quick. So we have, you do a lot of charity work. What inspires you to help others? And do you think there are any benefits of experiencing selective mutism?
Oh, yeah.
So would you like her to answer either of those?
If you would like to, Nika. You're prepared, so I don't want all your preparation to go to waste.
You can do them both if you want.
Okay.
The one that says you do a lot of charity work. What inspires you to help others? You can do that one if you want.
Okay. Soon after I started painting rocks, I got involved with a nonprofit group called the Spread Sunshine Gang. The leader of the group, Nikki, is a friend of my mom's, and she really inspired me. She's also the reason my mom even knew about selective mutism. Anyway, Nikki did a lot of good deeds for people, and I started helping her and then doing some of my own. A lot of people helped me when I was younger with my selective mutism and when my dad was sick. So I thought it would be nice to give back. Yeah.
No, that's great. Sounds like you've had a lot of good adults around you to help you along your way.
And do you want to answer this one too?
Sure.
Do you think there are any benefits of experiencing selective mutism?
Well, I never get in trouble at school for blurting things out or interrupting people. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's true.
I did ask her, are there any benefits? And she goes, no. And she went, well, I never get in trouble.
I think it also makes you a nicer person. Like, I feel like it ties back to the last thing you were talking about, helping people. I think because you experience that, you're more willing to understand how other people are feeling and see other people struggling and want to help.
I know Chelsea would always notice. She would notice everything going on around her and everything about people. She learned a lot by people by not talking and listening a lot. And that's actually a great skill to have, to be a good listener.
I think Nika would often say, you look sad, or you seem happy, or he feels mad. And I'm going,
feels
when you were little, yes, he feels mad to me. So she's always kind of noticed those things about people, maybe before anyone else did. So I think that's any benefit.
So what's next for you, Nika? I feel like you do so much. You've got so many different things going on. Any plans for the future, in the near future? Dinner. That's good. That's a good.
See, well, we're still working on the giving tree right now. So she's hosting the giving tree at the library where there's warm winter things for people to take. And then what are you doing tomorrow evening for Cookies and Cocoa?
Oh, tomorrow evening, well, everybody's doing that. That's not really for this life rocks.
No, but the thing is, not everybody with selective mutism can do this. So what are you going to be doing tomorrow?
I'm going to be reading like a Christmas book to younger kids.
Great. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm just curious, what book are you reading? Do you know yet what book it's going to be?
It's called Peef.
I think I know that one.
It's about a Christmas bear.
Okay.
Stuffed animal bear.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good for
so
you.
It's an event that her performing arts place puts on. And then every night over Zoom, one of the older kids leads like a yoga stretch, and then one of the upper elementary kids will read a book to anybody at all who wants to log in. And so Nika's going to read a book out loud.
Well, that's wonderful. Good for you. I think anybody that could be tough to do out loud.
Right. I was really proud of her that she volunteered.
I volunteered. Yeah, that's even more impressive. Well, you are super, inspirational. And for such a young 10-year-old child, I feel like, you know, you can do anything you put your mind to, right? You can accomplish great things. Actually, I was telling Chelsea, I think it was yesterday morning or whatever, when she sent me the information, I was actually lying in bed kind of being lazy. And I was going through your page and I got feeling so guilty. I saw all the things that you had accomplished and I'm like, what am I doing? I jumped up out of bed and kind of made myself go out and have a full day.
No. No guilt. No guilt necessary. No guilt. Because we also found that when Nika was reaching out, it made it easy for her to talk to people. Say, hey, can I help you? Do you need something? You know, can we do this? She was actually able last year to go into businesses and say, hey, I'm doing this project to gather some gifts for my teachers when they come back to school. Would you be willing to donate? And it was 2 years ago. No, it wasn't this fall. It was the fall before. So it was last school year.
No, I thought you meant
last school year. And she would just take her paper and she'd walk in and I'd just stand at the door and I'd watch her do it and ask these shop owners by herself. And I was so proud of her. But it was also much easier for her to say, can you help with this project? Give it to someone else. And to say, can you help me? Can you help me, you know, reach that library book?
Yeah.
Asking people to give to others was much easier for her too.
I'm just blown away. I'm so impressed by both of you. Like, you know, a lot of people, you know, we have a lot of good ideas and things, but to actually get up off the sofa and go out and to do it, it's pretty impressive, pretty amazing.
Where you'll notice we're sitting on the sofa now. We're not doing a whole lot right now. We're just hanging out here. But thank you. Thank you. Well, same with the podcast, though. I mean, I think a lot of people have ideas about how they can share things, but this is a really great one because I always feel as a parent that some of the things, you know, when you're looking for information, they're saying, oh, come to this webinar or come to this conference. And I'm like, yo, I don't have time for that. You know, I'm homeschooling my kid during a pandemic. I'm trying to get the laundry done. I'm making sure that kid has a car so they can get home from college. But I can plug in your guys' podcast. I can listen to that anywhere, anytime. And I'm still getting to, you know, listen to like-minded people or people with new ideas or people that have gone through the same thing. So I really appreciate that you guys are doing this and putting this out there in a new way that is going to be helpful to so many people.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on, both of you. I think it was great.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's our pleasure.
Thank you so much. Bye. Bye, Scrappy.
Okay, bye, Nika. Bye-bye. Bye, Scrappy.